go.
Now, the negative side will try to blow NASA's budget of $19 billion out of proportion. $19 billion may seem like a lot to us, but how much exactly is it worth to the federal government? Well, let's see. According to Time magazine, the cost of one B-2 bomber is $2.4 billion. Air Force owns 20 of them. Simple math equates to more than $40 billion. That's already twice NASA's budget, and that's just one type of plane that we own. Of course, these military planes are necessary for the safety of America, but NASA is critical for the survival of the whole world. Thus, if the government can afford stealth bombers, they can afford to appropriate more money to NASA. To reiterate, for economic, technological, and humanity reasons, then the government needs to increase space exploration. First, the money invested in space will have a positive economic impact. In the short term, the steps towards space exploration will increase a wide range of job opportunities, especially for engineering, a stagnant profession. Looking forward, as man delves deeper into space, soon asteroids will be the new frontier for resource mining. As humans continue to deplete the Earth's valuable resources, we may be forced to look elsewhere for metals, such as iron and nickel. Professor John S. Lewis projects that asteroids over 1 kilometer diameter will possess 30 million tons of nickel, 1.5 million tons of metal, cobalt, and 7,500 tons of platinum. The platinum alone would have a value of over $150 billion. Although the negative will try to argue that asteroid is not plausible, according to NASA, a robotic mission named OSIRIS-REx is scheduled to launch for 2016 and is designed to mine asteroid samples and return back to Earth. The double-edged asteroid also poses threats to mankind, as a near-Earth object could cause significant damage to Earth. Thus, by learning more about asteroids, we could be able to protect ourselves in the future, which brings me to our next contention, preservation of the species. There are two ways the species Homo sapiens can continue. First, we must prevent future disasters, especially from space. As space technology increases, we develop new methods for detecting and avoiding asteroid collisions. Solar flares are another risk that could be analyzed with future space exploration. Secondly, the human race must look towards space for colonization. There's no way to predict what may cause the Earth to deteriorate the fastest, but the Earth is slowly dying away. According to The Guardian, between 1970 and 2002, forest cover has dwindled by 12%. Furthermore, the World Wildlife Fund reports that humans have destroyed more than a third of the natural world over the past 3 decades. It's no longer a question of how, but when. The sooner we begin to research and develop methods for space colonization, the bigger chance we have of saving mankind. So when the negative points out that there are no tangible benefits, the affirmative argues there is. There's many benefits: resource mining, colonization, and protection. Lastly, by setting higher goals for space advancement, more technological advances will also come. NASA has documented over 1,700 spin-off technologies. It's not just achieving the goal of intergalactic travel, but also the journey to accomplish it. The research and development towards space will affect everyday lives. Now, how does the affirmative propose that the U.S. federal government increase space exploration? Our plan consists of 3 steps. First, we will argue for increased cooperation with private enterprises. One method is through government subsidies for major space enterprises, such as SpaceX and Virgin Galactic. By putting space into the hands of private sector, Esther Dyson of NASA Advisory Council writes, companies can take risks which government cannot. The industry will survive and prosper and because of the competition of the free market. Currently, the companies SpaceX and Orbital Sciences are being hired to design a ship that can deliver goods to the ISS. And no, yes, the Outer Space Treaty says that private enterprises cannot act alone in exploring space, but under government supervision, they can. Through our plan, more private industries will give government contracts through NASA to construct various space capsules and rockets for future missions within low Earth orbit. For safety concerns, NASA will have to approve the vehicles before allowing astronauts on it. By freeing this priority of low Earth orbit to the private sector, it allows NASA to focus on its mission statement, to reach for new heights and reveal the unknown so that we do and learn what benefit all mankind. Which brings us to the second part of our plan, a new deep space exploration vehicle. Presently, all capsules in space rely on chemical rockets as propulsion through space. However, this will not work in the long term, because it's too slow to sustain deep space exploration. Therefore, the affirmative supports the revival of the nuclear engine for rocket vehicle application, NERVA, which started in the 1960s. NERVA experimented with a nuclear reactor core to heat liquid hydrogen, which produced 250,000 pounds of thrust, according to Encyclopedia of Science. President Nixon canceled this plan in 1973 due to cost concerns. However, 40 years later, SpaceX urged at the Joint Propulsion Conference for the U.S. federal government to revisit the program. Since nuclear fission science has greatly developed, the past dreams are now a reality. We propose that the government increase NASA's budget up to $40 billion annually in order to accomplish this step. This is feasible through the plan President Obama outlined, which would save $1.1 trillion from withdrawing troops from Iraq and Afghanistan. We would use 4% of that money. Finally, the last step would be create deep space probes to explore possible areas to inhabit. There's much to learn about the solar system, and each step brings humans closer to colonization. In conclusion, space exploration affects every part of our world, present and future. Our opponents will try to prove that it's impractical because of cost, but however, space accounts for little picture in the big part of government expenses. There are other places that money can come from. To reduce the amount of debt, President Obama presented a plan of entitlement cuts, tax increases, and war savings, totaling $4 trillion in deficit reduction. Don't cut our last chance for survival. Vote for the future of mankind. Vote for affirmative.